That's it.
Folks, maybe you're having an easier time with this. I just can't grasp this. I never followed the militias, and I never followed some of those type of groups. So maybe you have, and you have a better understanding. But it kind of scares me that I don't understand it, because so often in my life, when I get this kind of feeling, it's usually the precursor to a much greater understanding, meaning that I'm in the middle of it. So perhaps I better go to Ian's site and read up on this myself. Ian, let's. We've only got about 8 minutes left, and I want to circle this back around to the Mayan calendar.
Yes.
And Mayan prophecy, and this date, folks. Write this date down. It's April 26th, right? Is that it, Ian? April 26th. 23rd?
Yes.
April 23rd of this year.
Yes.
Well, what? Tell us more, Ian. What? Give us some signs. What are some signs that will be coming up that will tell us that we're on the way to this significant change?
Well,
what are we likely to see in the next several weeks and months?
Number one is the Mayan calendar, because it is the schedule of the evolution of consciousness. It's a repeating schedule. And this schedule is not refutable. It is historically recorded that events follow consciousness. Events follow the schedule. So
hold on, Ian. I want to understand this, and I know many people do. Whenever I hear the word consciousness and follow consciousness, I think of my consciousness, and I think of like-minded people consciousness. Now, what you've been suggesting, evidently, is that the majority of consciousness, in my humble opinion, is not taking me down the road that I want to go. Are you suggesting that on an unconscious level that my consciousness as well is also taking us down this bumpy road?
Yes. This is a co-creation. We are all putting our 2 cents in. Now, there are people out there who are holding secrets, things that they may not be so proud that they did or thought.
Well, who couldn't say yes to that? I mean, we're all human.
We're all human. Every one of us have things that we have done or thought or said which we're not so proud of.
Yes.
All of those secrets are scheduled to go extinct.
What do you mean by that?
Well, one manifestation of it is Big Brother. Big Brother is a tool of consciousness. Big Brother is saying, no more secrets. Everyone knows everything about you personally.
But Ian, isn't it more that the power mongers, the controllers, are really the ones who know more about us? In other words, the insurance companies, the medical companies, the pharmaceutical companies, unfortunately, all the corporations. Now, but that's not the same as everybody knowing. I think most of us are in the dark.
Well, what it is the availability of that consciousness.
Well, that's true. That's true.
The availability is there.
Yes.
And for all you hackers out there, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
So consciousness is dictated right now that all secrets shall be revealed. That includes your own personal secrets.
Interesting. And where is this leading us?
Where it's leading us to is the ability to have telepathy. The only block of telepathy is people being afraid of their secrets being exposed.
How can we get to that other side, Ian, where we would actually be comfortable in such disclosure?
through ethics.
You know what, Ian? I got to tell you something. Do you remember my January 7th article when I was just fed up and I had a very dark moment, and I expressed it publicly to thousands of people regarding that's the article that I wrote about what happened to our voice.
Yes.
And you wouldn't believe the response I got to that. And then here you are tonight, live on the air, disclosing your bankruptcy. Are these examples of what you're speaking of?
Yes, but also the bankruptcy was an integral part of my own consciousness coming to grips with the actual situation. And the situation or the circumstances which the power has imposed upon us all. And through my investigations, I have uncovered massive, massive fraud within the loaning institutions and within all the banking institutions in America, well, the world.
In other words, Enron is not the exception, it's the rule, isn't it?
Yes, indeed it is. And it applies to every single person who is making any payment to any credit card company or any bank in America. I would suggest that people investigate their situation and from their investigation make a decision whether they are going to continue to pay their supposed debt or not.
You know, gosh, I wish I had more time, but folks, remember the last time you paid $35 for an NSF, for non-sufficient fund? Remember the last time you paid $35 when you were 3 cents underbalance? Do you remember that? Do you realize that if it was Guido that was charging you $35 for 3 cents, he'd be put in jail? But yet our banks get away with that every single day.
Every chip they're scraping off the table right now. If any of you think that these guys have enough attention to pay attention to you individually and what you're doing, forget it. They are far too busy. I would suggest that every person listening fully investigate this situation, become apprised, become elucidated, educated into what has been perpetrated against all of us. This is a massive, massive fraud. And this really is the impetus behind the Civil War, which is coming in April.
My God, that's 3 months away.
Yes? What was that?
That's 3 months away.
That's 3 months away. Everybody who is listening who is in a major city, get your stuff together and get out of that city.
You know, Ian, this is how I thought it was going to come down, and still think that it would come. If indeed there would be an economical collapse, and let's say it was to even occur by April, the only way I could think that that would happen would be a so-called terrorist attack that would devastate. I don't think people understand what happened when the 2 World Trade Centers went down. It was so much more than just 2 buildings going down. The ripples from that effect financially were still maybe 10% on the way to recovery just from that alone. If anything like that, even to a much smaller degree, were to occur, that would be it. Ian, what do you think?
Well, I think that the Sun has more to say about this than George Bush. I say that the Sun, which has been pumping more and more and more energy into our electromagnetic envelope, is more or less like a balloon that keep pumped with more and more and more air. Eventually, that electromagnetic envelope is going to crush or explode under the pressures. We've all seen the evidence of more and more increase of geomagnetic activity, of the geological